What's up, guys? Here we go in today's video on We Fight How We Train with Isaac Cruz versus Tank Davis. And I haven't actually seen the whole fight scoring wise. Actually, I usually fall asleep during the main event, but I haven't gotten to rewatch the whole thing. But Isaac Cruz did a fantastic job, and for the most part, I thought he was probably going to get annihilated. But if he was allowed to get across the line with Tank Davis, I was pretty sure he'd be a big problem. And one of Tank Davis's biggest problems is that while everyone's busy calling Isaac Cruz a C-level fighter, they're also forgetting that Tank Davis is a C-level fighter too. Now, Tank Davis gets bonuses for speed and power, right, in my grading system. So he's like a C++, and that almost makes him a B- because he's almost fast enough to see positions coming that he doesn't control. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But on the surface, number one, Tank Davis, if you're out there, you need a new coach. You need a new professional company. You need someone to teach you something that those guys are not teaching you, because you're not going to continue having success unless you're fighting. Well, I guess you're going to stay at 135. But the boxing world is catching up, Tank, and you're falling behind. And eventually you're going to have to fight Lomachenko, because if you can't make it to 140, you'll never escape him. And you're never going to beat that guy. Now, who knows, actually. Maybe he's pretty quick. No, he doesn't actually hit hard enough to stop Lomachenko. As we could see, he couldn't stop Cruz. But anyway, this video is supposed to be about Cruz. So we're going to take a look at some of these, like, really basic drills, man. Doesn't this stuff kill you? It kills you to watch this stuff, right? Now, what I want you to focus on is his opening, okay? How he gets on the line. Now, this was a huge part of the flow of the fight. As he looks to get on the line here, that was a pendulum step right there, if you're paying attention. This motion here, he's going to go front foot, pendulum, back foot, front foot. Beautiful pendulum step. The only problem that Cruz has is that he's not doing anything with his hands. Okay, he can do all these moves. He's got some of the head movement, the positions, but he can't control the space between him and his opponent while he's moving his head. He can't control the space between him and his opponent while he's moving his feet. And this means it's very dangerous, okay? Now, his opening, his standard opening, 1-2, okay? Now, it's 1-2-1, but I want you to take a look at the big front foot transition, back foot transition. He takes the weight off of the front foot, and now he's ready to do his falling star, right? His falling step, Jack Dempsey move, right? Very popular move. Most people don't even know that they do it, but it's present in all of boxing because it is such a core piece of body mechanics. Okay. Now, I personally don't think that Jack Dempsey was teaching that in the. I mean, I haven't read his book or anything. Only people have sent me some videos and stuff. But my personal theory is that this was his explanation for how to teach all of boxing, right? Like a very clever way of. You can learn all of boxing from this move. Very similarly, how I learned all of boxing from jumping rope. Now, first off, his openings, right? Very predictable. Okay. Good head movement here, and we're going to talk a little bit about this head movement here when we watch some of the clips. But always opening on a 1 here, right? Boom, boom. And I want you to pay attention to the head movement here. And where's his opening for a punch? Where's his opening? Where's his opening? When he finally gets on the line with his opponent, his rhythm changes, right? He's no longer in that same motion, that same rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. So in spite of the fact that he can move his head like this, he doesn't actually know how to throw his straight punches or his punches off of those, rather his straight punches off of those angles. Thank you, Fight Hub. Appreciate it. Now we're going to take a look at another training clip. This one is much more important. Okay, this is the one that was allowing him to be able to get around Tank Davis's guard and Tank Davis's control of the line. Now again, Tank Davis is like I call a Wing Chun warrior. He likes to throw straight punches. He likes to throw punches that don't really cross the line. And usually he's fighting people small enough that when he catches you, he's going to hurt you. Okay, now Tank Davis is a very good puncher. He's very good, very solid technique. Tank Davis is like 80% there for throwing a perfect punch. Okay, he has a little bit of technical issues because of the way that he practices. He practices his punching the same way Mayweather did, and Mayweather had no turnover or no snap in any of his punches. That's why he didn't get knockouts. Mayweather is in incredible shape, just one of the greatest athletes of our time. But he had no punching power because he had no snap, no turnover. But this here, excellent, excellent, excellent motion here. And that's, again, that's a problem that Tank Davis is starting to have because he trains the same way that Mayweather does. He doesn't practice turning his punches over. He practices only the faster, the Wing Chun motions, A to B, A to B. Now, as we saw, A to B was not very effective when your opponent can do this. They can roll under the line, right? Here comes that shot. If this is a straight punch from the jab, if this is a straight punch from the rear hand, if this is a hook, if this is anything, because they're southpaw, the angle for rolling under this is very, very simple because the point of first contact is almost always in the same spot. Again, if you guys have southpaw people you can learn to box from and spar with, practice with them. You will learn so much more about boxing fighting a southpaw than you will about fighting an orthodox. Even learning about fighting an orthodox, fighting a southpaw, I guarantee it, okay? Because I guarantee there are aspects of boxing that you are not going to be able to learn when someone who's a little bit better than you as an orthodox is pounding you. And I think that the southpaw orthodox matchup evens up a lot of that stuff, right? As we can see with Tank Davis and Isaac Cruz, the level of athleticism, the difference between the level of athleticism in Tank Davis and speed is very apparent. But Isaac Cruz was able to overcome a lot of those things. Now we're going to take a look at some of the clips. Okay, we're going to take a look at some of the flow of the fight. Now, real quick, this is the first round. Coming forward, 1, 2. Okay, not as so exaggerated, but he's taking the step, right? 1, taking the big step. 2. Now he's catching Tank Davis in the body here, trying to catch him with the third shot, right? And Tank Davis is going to make some adjustments. Okay, as the fight goes on, he's going to see that 1-2 timing, right? Here it is, right here. Here it is at the end of the round, okay? He draws that 1. He's going to try to take that step and leap into this 1 here. And Tank Davis catches him with this shot behind the head. But that's not the point. The point is that he was timing and setting this attack up. This should have been the kind of shot that would have been enough to draw him in and catch him and, eventually maybe hurt Isaac Cruz, right? Getting him to walk into a punch, okay? Control. Draw that attack, and because of the rhythm and the pace that he fights at when he steps with his punches, it winds up being very predictable. Tank Davis just gets a little wide with that punch. Again, he doesn't practice his power punches. He does not practice turning his punches over, so they're a little bit slow. They're a little bit wide. Now here, at the beginning of the second round, Tank Davis, being a C-level fighter, does not control the space between him and his opponent with the lead hand, does not control the space between him and his opponent with the rear hand, allows his opponent to take up as much of that space as he wants, even stepping with it. Now, Tank Davis looks like he's getting cocked for that hook, right? But he knows better. He knows he's not getting the timing. He's getting his head down, whatever. But he knows he doesn't want to get hit by this shot either because he knows that's what Cruz is looking to line up, okay? Now, he's still able to cut the distance, right? And catch him in the corner. Tank Davis just ties him up. The reason for that is once he throws that 1-2, boom, boom, he's expelled so much of his technique. He's thrown so much of himself off balance, right? So he needs to practice longer sequences and longer chains rather than more power punches. As we see on the mitts with him, he throws a lot of power punches, which is fine. But he needs to practice, we'll talk about that a little later actually, but I'll say more Wing Chun stuff like Tank Davis does. But anyway, very important that Tank Davis is getting control of that lead hand and finding a way to make that rear hand not as effective. Now, he's timing it by getting away. We saw him in the last round time it with an attack. And here, he times that jab again, even though it's not a real punch, even though he's hitting him on the back of the head, even though he's not, right? And he should be getting warned for this probably. I think it's a second or third time. It's not on purpose, but he is looking to disrupt that timing and that rhythm. That's very, very, very important. Now, how does Cruz deal with that? Well, instead of staying on the line with him and jumping and entering the line with his jab every time, he says, okay, man, I'm getting picked off. I got to stop that. And now he comes in with the overhand right. And Tank Davis does not respond super well, right? He does try to countering him with this shot. I don't think he lands, but he gets stuck on the line here for this shot. Now, Cruz practices big haymaker punches like this all the time, and that's why he has the speed and the athleticism and the ability to chain his attacks together in spite of the fact that Tank Davis is so quick. Okay, now that's very, very, very important. That's one of those things that allowed him to continue to find these kinds of punches, and that was an excellent shot. Now, Isaac Cruz has a few problems in his technique with his power punching, just a few with the snap and stuff. It has mostly to do with the angling of the rest of his body, not his arms and stuff, but he'll have to do some major conditioning in his body to kind of work that out. But here he is, again, realizing he doesn't want to open up with his jab because he's getting timed. It's a very, very predictable jab rhythm timing. And just to give you a little refresher, we want to go take a look at it one more time here. Okay? Again, look at how the head movement is laced to his punches, and he has to keep on finding a break, right? Keep on finding a break. But very predictable timing. Look at how that back foot doesn't even come with him, right? No weight on that back foot. There's no power in that right hand. It's a decent Wing Chun shot. I would never, ever tell you to let Isaac Cruz punch you in the face with that punch, because yeah, goddamn, it's going to hurt. But he's not going to knock you out with that shot. He'll probably knock you out with the next one because all his weight's on the front foot, right? So he'll throw a left hook. But that, again, another one of those problems, right? Why he's not knocking somebody out like Tank Davis. He's not actually getting all of his weight into the position to transfer his weight into his opponent's face, okay? But again, very predictable rhythm. That was a 2-1-2. He stepped with the 2. He does that a few times in the fight too. But the 1-2-3 or the 1-2-1 getting him countered many, many, many more times. Now again, head movement, and then rolling off of the shot here under, and then rolling into the body shot. I know he doesn't get him here, but I just wanted to show that clip, the head movement. Look at him. One side of that lead hand, other side of that lead hand, right? And Tank Davis trying to actually do the right thing here. When his opponent brings his weight back this way with the hand, he follows him with his hand, right? Does a good job, but he does do a decent job himself of rolling with that shot as well. So a lot of really high-level stuff here. But we can see how that rolling under Tank's initial control of the line is going to be effective for him to continue, pursuing Tank. And as we can see here, as the fight goes on, he thinks those shots are going to be more and more to the body, and they're more and more to the head here. And again, instead of just sitting on the line, right, allowing this lead hand to just punch him in the face when he gets there, he's going to shifting his weight to the back foot and rolling under, right? Notice Tank Davis not using a punch. He's just trying to control the space with the timing, right? He wants to know where Isaac Cruz is during this beat, because Isaac Cruz is fast, all right? Boxing is not as easy as you just see all your opponent's motions. No, you still have to be fast enough to predict them. You still have to understand enough about what your opponent's doing to choose the right position when your opponent feints you. And I want to say that although Tank Davis is not choosing the correct position, he's getting the right rhythm and the right pace because he has control of that lead hand, right? But again, he's not intersecting the line with the jab here on this beat. He's entering the line with the overhand right, and that stops Tank Davis from being able to counter him, right, as he moves into this position. It's still offbeat for him to be able to counter. Now, again, very, very similar motion, very, very beautiful work here, slipping under that line, right? And again, if Tank Davis throws a punch at him while he's pendulum slipping this way, look at this, guys. Slip that weight, take that big step. He gets his head off the line of that jab, and now Tank Davis has no hands to attack him. He's not going to be able to get his lead hand all the way to the back of Cruz's line, because this is the point of contact right here. This is where Tank Davis can fight, and his head is just off that line. So now he's going to be able to slip under that line, and because Tank Davis doesn't change positions, he's not going to be able to attack this position here and bring his weight into Isaac Cruz, and allows Isaac Cruz to dominate that front foot position as soon as he gets there. And again, because he practiced so much opening up with his right hand as well, rolling under the line. To be honest, it was a pretty good strategy. And even though I'm not sure who won the fight, I don't know, because like I said, I didn't really score it. I didn't see the whole fight. What I did see, I was pretty impressed with Cruz. And I thought that he fought pretty well. But again, I'm never impressed with Tank Davis. Never. I thought that Leo Santa Cruz was putting a beating on him. Leo Santa Cruz is a smaller guy. He did his job. He did what he needed to do and knocked him out. But Leo Santa Cruz exposed the same kinds of flaws in his ability to control the line as Leo Santa Cruz was able to pendulum on Davis almost at will, hitting him with the right cross. Now, real quick, the right cross here, okay? Look at Isaac Cruz throw this shot here, boop, bring that weight home, and now look at how that cross is open. Again, this is one of those problems that a lot of those southpaws have when they try to block a punch and stay on the back foot. Number one, blocking punches is super dangerous. Why do you guys want to block a punch if you're not going to counter, right? You need to get into position to counter your opponent. So having a block that doesn't facilitate the ability to throw a counter punch means that block is worthless, because that means that you're not blocking in a boxing position. You're not blocking a punch in a way that allows you to manage your weight so that you can throw your weight out of it into your opponent's face. So if you can't catch your weight properly in a position, or catch your opponent's weight properly in a position, that position is fundamentally flawed, Okay, now this is the exact position that Tank Davis winds up getting put in against Leo Santa Cruz. Unfortunately for Isaac Cruz, he didn't really have a big pendulum step, in spite of the fact that we can see him practicing one here, right? We can see him practice bringing his weight through those same motions, but again, he doesn't know how to punch while he's doing it, right? Now, he does do some control, and then he does land on the ground, right? Now, watch this motion, you guys, pendulum step. Boom. See how he brings his weight to the back foot here? And now he could throw a big right hand. This pendulum step sticks you into a very similar position as here, right? Notice how his weight gets to the back foot here, and now his weight's on the back foot and he's taking this big step. Off of the pendulum step, you have a pendulum slip open where you can chain these motions together and continue adding power to your punches. So again, a few small adjustments from Cruz, and then I'll say that Cruz is very likely a better version of Canelo. Okay, a few small adjustments if he could learn. Now, some things I was impressed with. I saw some clips about people talking shit about Tank Davis and, oh, he lost, he did this, and all their evidence was some of the punches that Isaac Cruz was blocking, and I thought that was fantastic. I loved he was blocking those punches, he could catch them, even if he wasn't seeing them. He had such a tight guard. This is a very, very, very difficult skill, okay? And I want to tell you, it's even more difficult against someone like Tank Davis because he's so fast. Now, if you think about the idea that Caleb Plant is a very similar version of Tank Davis, just with no power. And then, obviously Southpaw, the orthodox matchup, yada, yada, yada. This was an excellent performance from Tank Davis, or from Isaac Cruz. It was beautiful. He did a lot of really, really excellent things with what looks like a lot of limited coaching, a lot of limited body mechanics and stuff. But getting on the line with this guy practices his power punches and stresses his technique, and that kind of stuff was definitely available for him in the fight, those kinds of punches. And I think that, in spite of the fact that now he has 2 losses, if he keeps working, he's young enough that he can learn a lot, to grow a lot, and, not say be the next, because people already think he's going to be the next Mike Tyson or whatever. He had that little, not stigma, or that idea attached to him. But he's very capable of that type of stuff if he gets the right kind of coaching. If he can learn how to do some of this stuff while also controlling the line, right? While also feinting and probing and moving his head and setting up big shots like this, because it's very difficult to fight someone who can throw so many power punches. Boom, 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 right? Your opponent has to have just as good a head movement as you do. Anyway, pretty easy We Fight How We Train video for closing the distance. If you guys have any questions, don't forget to leave your comments and stuff in the comment section below. And if you're interested in learning how to hit the mitts, if you're interested in learning body positions and the best ways to learn position 1 and position 2 and weight management, I have a Vimeo package to teach you hitting the mitts, and it's got some of my favorite drills that I use to teach coordination and body mechanics and positions. They've been the core drills for my boxing student Theo, and they're the core drills I teach every time I go out to show anybody anything. And they're my favorite drills. They're very, very, very simple. And once you get good at each of these individual drills in this package, you can combine them all together for a very Mayweather-like mitt work. And with correct body mechanics, correct this and that, and you'll be able to practice all your punches, all your positions, and all your blocks as well. It's a very, very, very cool training package. It's offense, it's defense, but not only that, it's going to teach you the correct way to hit the pads so that you get the most out of it. It's also going to teach you the correct way to hold the pads. Okay? So no matter who you're holding for, you can get them a good workout, and no matter who's holding for you, you can learn and get the things done you need, no matter what combinations they try to ask you to do. If you know the rules of striking, you know the rules of the pad work, you know the rules, you'll have much, much, much more growth, and less stagnation, less, man, I'm just not doing this right. I'm not doing this right, okay? Anyway, that package is, just like all my packages right now until the end of the holidays, is 30% off with promo code 30. Don't forget to check it out. And yeah, thanks.